right, welcome back to the Scarlet Faithful podcast. I'm Aaron Brightman. This is my rapid reaction to Rutgers' 76-72 loss to Ohio State on Wednesday night. Definitely mixed emotions. It was an up and down game. Rutgers started well, was up one about midway through the first half, then went very cold. Ohio State got very hot from three. Jamison Battle, old friend from Minnesota, who killed them last year in that NCAA tournament killing loss, was on fire in the first half, hit 5 threes. And Ohio State at one point was 9 of 11 from behind the arc. Rutgers fell behind by 17 points in that first half. Credit to Rutgers for battling back. They buried themselves in that big hole. They did cut it, closer to 10 points. They were down 13 at the half, came out strong in the second half. And, they defensively were much better in the second half. It was a great adjustment, I thought, by Steve Peichel, putting Austin Williams on Bruce Thornton, who was killing Rutgers as well with penetration. He's so strong. And Williams was able to physically stand up to him. And that was a huge difference in the second half. That got Rutgers back in the game. He hustled. He only had 2 points. He had 2 free throws, but he just gave Rutgers much needed energy on the defensive end. And that was a great call. And then also Mawat Mag shifting to Battle. He was able to limit him at times as well. So I think there's a lot of positives to come from this game, but it is a very painful loss. This was one I really thought they could have won this game. They were 10-point underdogs coming in, but the way they battled back was super encouraging. It's just a shame that defensively they were not themselves in that first half. They were not physical. They were just not awareness-wise. They weren't closing out on shooters. I think you saw that their lack of size in the perimeter was a bit of an issue, a lack of length in terms of being disruptive, in terms of being able to close out. On the shooters that Ohio State had, Thornton and Battle did the most damage. They were pretty good, surprisingly. Limited Ohio State inside. Rutgers outscored Ohio State by 2 points in the paint, 26-24. They out-rebounded the Buckeyes by 4, 39-35. They held them to just 8 offensive rebounds, which is really impressive. Ohio State's very good on the glass, top 30 team. They were able to hold a 14-9 edge in second chance points. That was very, very surprising that they were able to hold up that well inside. They were also able to get out on the break. They forced, in terms of turnovers, Ohio State had 13. Rutgers had 11. They had 2 costly turnovers late, though. They were just 1 of 5 from the floor down the stretch once they cut that lead to 1. Rutgers had opportunities to win the game. I thought the decision-making was a little bit poor down the stretch. There were a couple calls, they posted up Mag. I believe they were just down 1. I didn't really understand that call. There was some bad shot selection a little bit. I thought Rutgers rushed a little bit down the stretch. You were missing a little bit of that poise that they've had over the years. Noah hit a clutch step back 3 with them down 6 to cut it back to 3. But it was about 20 seconds to go, and Rutgers hurried, and Mag took a rushed 3-point shot that they didn't need at that point. They could have attacked the basket. I thought a lot of the game they could have attacked the basket better than they did. They settled for some jump shots. Some were open, but they just missed. I mean, that was the biggest difference in the game was 3-point line. Ohio State was 11 of 24. Rutgers was 6 of 24. That's a 15-point spread. You lose by 4. So they were excellent on the foul line, 12 of 14. That was really good to see. Like I said, there was a lot of positives in this game, but to play pretty well, especially in that second half, and just fall short in a place they've never won. Ohio State now 0-8 in Columbus. The last 4 games between these two teams have been decided by 4 points or less. Not a devastating loss, certainly a frustrating one. They have to get off to better starts. The urgency that they showed in the second half is what they have to start the game with. And I think that really cost them in this game. Gavin Griffiths really struggled again in this game offensively. He's trying so hard. He's forcing it a bit. Stephen Bardo in the game, made a good comment that he needs to make a layup. He's settling for too many jumpers. He did have that drive late and got blocked. We know he needs to get stronger for next year. So I think that getting him going, you can't give up on him. You got to keep feeding him the ball. I think, once things start breaking for him, it's going to make a big difference in this team. But I thought Derek Simpson was absolutely huge tonight. We were hoping that it would be a galvanizing moment after that game-winning shot against Stonehill on Saturday, and he played with a ton of confidence tonight. He was the shot maker they needed. He was running the offense pretty well. He was 7 of 13 from the floor, just 1 of 6 from three. But he just, he was able to get in the lane. He was able to create separation. He hit from mid-range. He also, he was 9 of 16 from the floor, 2 of 5 from three. Fernandes was 7 of 13 from the floor, 1 of 6 from three. He had 17. So they combined for 40 points. They were 16 of 29 from the floor combined. Again, just 3 of 11 from three, but they were also 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Simpson had 8 rebounds. Fernandes had 5. So for a team that desperately needed to rebound in this game, their two smaller guards came through big time. And that's certainly an encouraging sign of Big Ten play. They both played very, very well. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough inside. Mag, he was 4 of 12 at 11 points, just 2 rebounds, though. I thought his shot selection, he forced things a little bit. Cliff, did not got hurt midway through the second half. Took an elbow from Zed Key in the throat and was a factor. Sat out a few minutes, did come back, but really wasn't nearly as aggressive down the stretch. He was certainly hurting. He was just 6 shots for Cliff, 2 of 6. Was 3 of 4 on the line, had 7 rebounds. But overall, and high, he gave him something. He had 9 points again, 4 of 9 from the floor, 10 rebounds. So he played hard. Again, been the most consistent player this year. I thought the leaders stepped up, but it was just that slow start that killed him, and the inability to hit threes when they needed to, and allowing Ohio State to get hot early. I mean, they were 9 of 11. They finished 11 of 24. So they were just 2 of 13 to finish the game. So much better defense from Rutgers, but they got to play defense like that for 40 minutes in the Big Ten. But I think, honestly, this game gives them some confidence. I think the key now is taking what they did in that second half and being able to come out on the floor in Iowa on Saturday at noon, which is going to be tough. They're flying back tonight. They're going to get back on a plane on Friday. So you worry about tired legs a little bit. But I think this team, they need to attack the rim more. They have natural penetrators, Fernandes, Simpson, and that pull-up mid-range. Simpson and Fernandes can knock that down. And they did some of that tonight. So I think there's a lot of positives you could take from this game. But they gotta start building now. You got to win in Iowa on Saturday. You don't want to start 0-3. It's the first time they've started 0-2 since 2018-2019 season. This team's health, right? I mean, JaMychal Davis was back today. He got abused a little bit defensively. I think we're seeing with Griffiths and Davis, just physically, strength-wise, they need to get stronger for next season. Both have a ton of potential. But, again, Austin Williams was questionable for this game. JaMychal Davis was questionable for this game. Mag was questionable for this game. They all ended up playing. I think Williams, he showed, and they're going to need him. He showed that he deserves more minutes, especially, playing bigger guards. I was really impressed with how he defended down the stretch with Thornton. And, in terms of Mag kind of working the rust off, JaMychal Davis working his way back. I mean, this team, I know people are going to say it's an excuse, but they haven't been 100% healthy this entire season. So I say that in a positive, that I think we're still seeing this team come together a bit, and it's not panic time yet. And I know that people want to give up, or some people already have. Some people are concerned. Fair to be concerned, for sure. If they had, lost going away 15, 20 points tonight, I would have been extremely disappointed and very concerned. I am disappointed because I thought that this was very much a game they could win. And they had their chances, even down the stretch after battling back. But it does take a lot out of you to battle back from that much down, and the double figures to get down to the way they did. And they had a couple times where they got it down to 9, they got it down to 5, and they couldn't break through. It was 7, they couldn't break through. Mag had that travel when he got fouled at the rim. Basket would have counted. But this team battled. They showed heart. They were way more connected defensively in the second half. That's the key, And there was a stat today I tweeted out. I talked about it in the preview that Rutgers, their offense comes from their defense. And there's very much a stat to back that up tonight. Let's see. I just want to quote. It was Ryan Hammer talking about turning defense into offense. The best teams that capitalize enough of good defense. And Rutgers is one of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, about a dozen teams that are in the category of best of capitalizing off of good defense. And we saw some of that again tonight. Simpson had that great open court steal for the dunk. When Rutgers can force turnovers and get in transition, they're really efficient. And this offense needs that. Shooting threes, there was 7 of 46 coming in, 43 coming into this game. So they're 6 of 24. That's 13. This is late night math. 67, 13 of 67. That's not good. That's the last 3 games I'm talking about. 13 of 67. Yeah, that's 19%. So you have to imagine, and they're not taking terrible threes. I thought tonight was better in the flow of the offense. Even the Stonehill game, they miss a lot of open looks. This team just has to keep fighting, keep getting more confidence, sticking together. I really do think this is a team that can win double-digit games in the Big Ten because it's wide open, and they're going to get Ohio State back at home now. You have a vulnerable Iowa team. Iowa's going to be desperate on Saturday. They're 0-3. Rutgers is 0-2. Iowa has size, but they're not strong inside. That's a very winnable game. And then you go home to Indiana. This is an opportunity. You can make tonight a valuable experience and a positive if you can reel off 2 straight here. It's for the taking. If this team played the way they did in the second half, they can harness that and play that way at Iowa and home against Indiana. They're going to get some momentum here. They're going to be on to something. They're now 0-5 against Quad 1 opponents. That's not good. Again, no bad losses. But I do see pieces starting to come together, and I hope you do too. And listen, there's an uphill battle here, and they gotta figure it out soon. But I thought tonight in that second half, you started to see them not only figure things out, but believe. I think they started to believe. And when Derek Simpson plays with confidence, Noah Fernandes plays with confidence, when they play with an edge defensively, when they rebound the basketball, which they proved tonight against a good rebounding team, that when they're all in, they can. So I'm not going to say it's a moral victory. It wasn't, because this was a game they could have won, and I'm disappointed they didn't win it. But again, there's things they can build on from this loss, and I think it's something that is certainly there with the way this schedule plays out now. You got to build on it for Saturday. It's going to be tough to do. It's a noon game. You're on the road again. You're flying home. You're flying back. But this team should be inspired now. They should have some energy, some urgency, some confidence going in. Pike will have a good game plan for him. Again, great adjustments, I thought, defensively in the second half with Williams and Mag on Thornton and Battle. But it's just too bad that they didn't figure it out earlier in the game and in the first half. Just have to be more cognizant. Against Iowa, you got to close out shooters. You can't let them free behind the perimeter or you're going to get killed. So we'll see what happens here. I'll have a preview for Iowa on Friday. But, tough night, especially when you play as well as they did. Again, they held the edges in rebounding, rebounding margin, turnover margin, points in the paint, transition points, second chance points, offensive rebounds. They were excellent from the foul line, and they lost. And it came down to the first half defense and really 3-point line. You can't be minus 15 on the 3-point line and expect to win in the Big Ten. And although they did so many good things tonight, that was the difference. And that's why Rutgers will be flying back with a loss. Again, a lot of encouraging things in this. Thank you for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.